Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast helping you discover great wines with great value for every occasion. On this episode, we review
Saffron Fields 2021 Pinot Noir with friend of the pod, Adam Wolf.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, and especially welcome back, Adam. We're so excited. This is one of our favorite types of episodes. Yeah.
I was
Friend
actually
of the pod too. We don't say that to everybody. That you have to earn that distinction.
Yeah,
well done.
That's true.
I heart every post just to get back on. That was the only reason. Yeah.
No, that's we understood that, and that's why
It's
you're back.
like currency. It's social media currency.
Colin has a very elaborate Excel spreadsheet where he's just counting all the accounts
Yeah.
and how many times they like our posts.
Sorry, babe, I cannot do
color
bedtime. I have to like a bunch of posts. They dropped a new ep today. I've got like 6. No, I had a lot of messages. Actually, people reach out saying like I was their favorite episode. Like, who was it? It was like my mom, my dad, my wife, all of my friends. No strangers, but like I bet they're out there. They are for sure out there.
They reached out to us as well, saying the same
That's
thing.
good.
So we got
That's
similar
good.
feedback. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
but your mom and your dad reached out to us, not
They also reached out.
strangers. Yeah, they reached out to us to tell us it was.
It was the same 8 people. Yeah.
But hey,
That's all it takes
You know,
here.
we're a
8
young
is the threshold.
podcast. It's a percentage. We like it. We appreciate
Yeah,
it. Every little
absolutely.
bit counts.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me,
Beggars can't
guys.
be
It's been
choosers.
great. And yeah,
Thanks for coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, we love it. We appreciate that, the pod was a positive experience, that you would like to come back. And, we also appreciate that when you come back, you usually send us really awesome wine along with your awesome presence. So,
that's the trick.
Yeah.
Much
It's like we
appreciated.
really like your personality, but we really like your wine.
Story of my life. Story of my life. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but this there's so much to talk about. I feel like when we have folks come back on the show, usually they're talking about the same thing, or we're just jumping into a new wine. But you've got a whole new story going on. Like you couldn't even send us the same places before. What is going on? You're not in LA anymore.
No, yeah. So last time I was on, for those of you that are new, and I know you're racing to go back to the previous episode, but just hold on one sec. And I brought
Pause, go back, listen to
go back.
Adam
Let's do. We will wait. We will have an hour of dead time in this one, so you have time to jump back on. I was on here, and I brought Byron Blatty's Tannat, an LA producer, and we talked about we had a
was
great time.
Fantastic wine. Awesome.
Fabulous.
It was so
Easily the best Tannat on the show. Also, like we should point out.
Easily.
Out of all the
Still-
Tannats we
still-
had, it was
to this
100%
day, the
better.
best in on the show.
Yeah, the belt has not been
Untouched.
shifted. Now I'm living in Oregon. I'm working in Oregon wine country in Willamette Valley. And I believe, I could be wrong, I've listened to, I think, all of the episodes of the show. Have you even had an Oregon wine on?
We had
have.
one,
Yes.
Willamette one, and
Okay.
it had to be in the first probably 30 episodes. And I only remember this because at the time I had in my head to go, Willamette, damn it, Willamette, because I kept,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
kept pronouncing
Yeah.
it wrong.
Yeah, people sometimes say Willamette. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I learned about this place from like wine. So like I always pronounce it right because in the documentaries they say it right. So it's really weird to me.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm working at Saffron Fields Vineyards up in Yamhill. Carlton is our AVA, and we do a lot of what a lot of people up here do. We are the Pinot is king, and Chardonnay is the new king. They're both absolutely killing it right now. But we'll talk about it some stuff. There's also some other stuff going on up here. But yeah, I decided to leave almost entirely my music career and move up here. Yeah, so I go back down occasionally for sessions and stuff. But I did a whole career shift, moved up here to be in wine country. I applied for this job, got it, and been about 4 months. It's been pretty cool. And every 2 weeks I go visit my wife and kids. They'll move up later, but my wife is still very active down there with music, and she still will be even after we move up. She'll go back down for work and stuff. But my kids are still also active in coloring, playtime. So we all have our activities.
Naturally.
And it just came to kind of the thing where like, if I'm not going to do it for this particular job, like I'm not sure I'm going to do it. So I took the leap, and it's been awesome. Yeah. And we'll talk about it later. The other 2 weeks I go tasting because, as we all know, as parents, if I'm not there to help, I might as well do something completely different on those weeks. So those weeks I go out and I do like 6 to 8 tastings a week on those weeks.
Which is the responsible thing to do.
It's studying, guys. I have to.
You
Exactly.
have to.
You have to master the industry.
Percent.
Exactly.
Man. Okay. So
The breadth of knowledge
That's
I'm
a
bringing
beautiful-
to
so
you
this
guys. you're welcome. First of all,
100%.
The new expert on the show. That's all I'm saying.
Seriously.
well, I didn't say it, but let's get it on tape. We got it on tape? Great, cool.
There it is. It's locked down for forever. So what is the actual role, Adam? And like, so I was so curious what made the move. Sounds like this was, you saw this role. This was something that you wanted. You went after it. What is the role that you hold?
So I have two roles. I'm the tasting room lead, which is basically there's three of us that are full-time at Saffron, and then we have our owner, Angela. And so it's really four of us that are kind of the ones steering the ship. The one above me is Alexandra, and she is our hospitality manager. And she basically oversees all the like general operations of the winery. So for example, like when we do our wine club, she's running that, and also just making our program for how we run our hospitality in the tasting room. I essentially run the floor with that vision, but also with what we do at Saffron, and bring my calm and quiet demeanor to guests.
Yes, of course.
Which I unfortunately left at home. And
just walking around with the French horn, just being like, welcome.
Yeah. You know what? I have done it once. I had a birthday here and I had the French horn and I went and played it.
Yes.
And there was a lot of like looks like, what was that? And and then I walked around and I was like, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Just go ahead. And then our third full-time person, Katie, is phenomenal. She's our marketing lead, and she also is a tasting room associate. But she's basically, when she's in the tasting room, she's helping me with the tasting room. And when she's working from home, or if we have like where we don't have a ton of reservations that day, where I can kind of handle the floor, she'll do some marketing stuff. My other title is distribution lead, where I will actually go out and get us placements in restaurants and retail shops and get us on wine lists and coordinate things like that. So when I talked to you guys last, I was doing sales rep work down in LA, and I was in the tasting room at Byron Blatty, and both of those jobs, and they both know this, so I don't feel bad saying this, I was only working those jobs on the side of the university, on the side of the studio stuff and freelance work to build a resume to get a salary job up here. So then when I got offered this, it was like, well, this is it. That's what it's for.
Mission objective complete. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did not try the wine until I got here.
Cool that you were able to make that. You're making the leap with your fingers crossed.
Yes. Yeah. It was so. Angela, my owner, like offered me the job around like, I want to say like June 25th or something like that. She wanted me here July 1st. But we have we have two small kids. I couldn't do that. I had sessions set up. I had things. So we basically agreed that I would come up July 20th. So my son's birthday was July 13th. My kid's joint birthday party was the 14th. My daughter's birthday was the 18th. I drove up the 19th, and I started in the morning of the 20th.
Oh my God!
Man.
Whirlwind.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty relaxed.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
That's awesome. So I would imagine the difference between the LA wine scene and the Oregon wine scene is pretty considerable.
Yes.
So, give us a little insight into the difference there between where you came from and where you are now.
Yeah, so in LA, because there were the 9 wineries in LA, there's probably a few more, but there's 9 that I had association with that were like all small and scrappy. And LA, like New York, like Chicago, like these are major cities, so there's no like, oh, I hope I can get this wine in that city. Like they're all available. If you're like, oh, I wish I could find a Mosel Riesling, and you're in one of those 3 major, or many more, but like one of those big ones like LA, it's like, oh, well, like there's probably one within a mile. You just got to find the shop. And so as a result, because there was no huge desire from the general consumer in LA to drink LA wine, because they probably didn't know it existed unless they had visited one of those tasting rooms. There was a very global wine drinking scene. And when I moved here, there's a lot of support for local wines. And it's kind of like what I would understand, and maybe Aaron, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of what I understand how it is in New York City, where there's a lot of love for New York State wines. And that's kind of what it is like when I go. So where I live is about 30 minutes from Portland. Where I work is about 30 minutes from where I live. And when you get into those small little towns and cities around Oregon, like McMinnville or Newburgh, all these little cute towns, you go into wine lists, it's all Oregon wine. And if you go into wine shops, it's all Oregon wine, with the occasional Bordeaux or whatever, like Sangiovese that people can grab if they're like, I just went wine tasting all day, I want something else. But it's a very Oregon-centric scene here. And even in Portland, like it's a little bit more of a natural wine scene up in Portland, which we all know Colin's like super into. But like, we'll hold off on your questions. But like...
He is a new convert.
I am a new convert. If you
we'll
find the right one, I'm in.
We'll see. Natural wine's is tricky that way because there's so as you talked about on the pod that we talked, like so many good natural wines and also so many that have earned that reputation we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, but here, but in Portland, there's like a lot of natural wines, but there are Oregon natural wines or global natural wines, and there's a little bit more of a global sense up there, but there's still. Like if I say, oh, I'm at this boutique winery that's 2,500 cases a year, like everyone's excited by that because they want to support local, which is really cool and really, really different than LA. But also like, I wasn't doing distribution for LA wines in LA too much. I did a little bit for Blatty, but I didn't really get to test that market too much. Sure. So maybe we would have had a ton of success that way if I had stuck around longer, but here, though, it's not very hard to even get the appointment. They'll at least taste it through and see what's going on.
That's such an interesting way you broke that down, because I appreciate that it wasn't just like there's less of a wine scene in LA and then there's a huge wine scene in the Willamette Valley. It's like, no, there's wine scenes everywhere, but like it's like what you're expecting out of that area. Like obviously New York City, like again, like you're saying, it's gonna be more of a global, like, there aren't a lot of people walking into liquor stores or wine shops in New York City being like, do you have any New York City wines? Like that's just not the conversation. But you get to an area, you don't go to Napa or Willamette Valley and ask to get something from France. Like you're just like, oh, I'm here because there's production happening here. So I mean, so let me ask, like, so Saffron Fields, not a vineyard I've heard about before, so I'm excited to get into this. Where do they land in all of this? Like, what is their vibe, and what would one expect if they're getting a glass of wine from them?
It's totally understandable you haven't heard of it because in Willamette there are over 800 wineries.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah, which is almost enough. We're getting there. But like,
squeeze a couple more in.
And so Saffron. So when you say like, there's like gonna be, just like Napa, it's gonna be depending on like what list you're after. So for example, in Napa, we think of the Opus ones, we think of the, Heitzes, we think of these, the Chateau Montelenas. There is another person that when they think of Napa, thinks of like the Joseph Phelps, the Pine Ridge, the, like these like really common high level grocery store available wines. Not, I don't want to say grocery store quality, but like available in there. Like those are the ones that the Camases in the glass case at the grocery store that make a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, Sutter Homes is on the main drag, going through Napa, right? Like that's the picture I had to take from my mom. When I was driving through, being like, oh look. So it's like it's such a breadth of options.
Exactly. And so Oregon is not dissimilar. The difference is, at least, and I say this because I've never lived in a wine region before this, and I've never been this deep into a wine region culture that I have tasted at a lot of places already, and I've found one place that I wouldn't like strongly recommend, and everywhere else is like, oh yeah, they're killer. Like, what are you looking for? And so as a result, there are tiers, but it's really like everywhere you go, you're going to find good wine. So what are you after when you're getting that good wine? Where Saffron Fields fits in is we've been voted 2023, 2024, 2025 best tasting room in Willamette. Obviously, being here 4 months, I was integral to all those.
That's amazing.
Well done.
If we don't get it in 26, I have super bad news. It was my fault. But we have a really great event space here where we have a big lawn where like in the summer we have lawn games and stuff like that. But also we have a koi pond, we have a lily pond, we have a garden path that goes around the koi pond that goes around. We have July 3rd fireworks show. It's the only fireworks show in the valley that I know of. Like you can't see it here, but like outside here, the entire building is lined with holiday lights because we have Vintner's Lights, which is like a mulled wine, s'mores, get a glass of our wine, like walk through for the holiday spirit kind of stuff. So like that's awesome. And on top of that, the wine's really good. So it's like, you'll have those places in like certain wine regions or like a wine region that's like not really developed yet where like they need it to be beautiful. because it can be a distraction while they're still figuring out what they're doing. I know obviously I'm not going to say anywhere, but like that's here. It's like, no, it's just a bonus on a bonus. Whereas like, the four of us who are really into wine, if you put us in like a storage closet and there's a wine, we're like, this is great. I love wine.
Yeah.
So I don't personally need the koi pond or anything like that, but like there are people that are coming tasting that like, that's going to be what's going to set us apart for them in a place where there are 800 wineries.
I think it's kind of cool that one of the differentiating features, and it sounds like, part of what Saffron Fields is going after too, is almost more to kind of that hangout, like almost what you would equate to a brewery vibe 10, 15 years ago, where you can hang out and play some yard games and, actually relax. Like, again, not the pretentiousness of anything. It's just drinking really fun wine and hanging out. So I think that's so cool that it sounds like maybe that's kind of becoming more of sort of an atmosphere you might find in these areas.
Well, yeah, like, so a lot of places in Willamette are kid friendly. The vast majority are. And so what I love about Saffron, but also a lot of tasting rooms, but Saffron I think really kills it, is like if you're looking for like a romantic date winery, like a tasting room, we got you. If you're looking for like I need the kids to go run around and play for an hour so I can drink some wine, we got you. And there's, so it kind of is for everyone,
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's great. So I went to, when we think about like Napa Valley, like you go to some vineyards that have that. Mm-hmm. And then you go to some that are so, like, you sit down at the table stuffy, and they serve you like exactly these couple wines. And then they immediately try to sell you on their wine club or, the bottle or whatever that. And you're like, okay, I guess this was really good. And like some of them are storied enough that it was worth the experience. But like, I want to just hang and I want to enjoy the wine. And 9 times out of 10, I will walk away with your wine, or might join your wine club, or might spread the good word of your vineyard if I had a good time. But if I sat there the whole time feeling pressured or feeling oppressed or feeling like I like snuck in and that I'm getting pushed out, like it just kills the vibe.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing because like when I was at Blatty for the tasting room, it was an urban tasting room. It was relatively like casual, and here, like, we have a tasting room, like we have a separate building, like we do like need wine club signups, we do need all these things, but it's about like finding that balance as like a full-time tasting room person of like, what experience does this guest need? Because to your point, Aaron, they might be having a really tough time and they just need an escape. And if you're like, oh, and if you join the wine club, blah blah blah, like you, and they what they might be thinking is, dude, like, I might have had you not come talk to me right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But now I won't, or something, that's been a nice lesson. I was never at Blatty. I was never great about pushing the wine club because like I'm not in any wine clubs other than one, which is just like my French horn teacher from high school has a vineyard in retirement and it's like 4 bottles a year and they're not expensive. So it's like, yeah, I'll do that. Like, but
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But like, so I was never good about pushing it. Here, to your point, Aaron, like my goal is like not necessarily to push the wine club because they have it in their menu, but I want to create an experience that they want to try to recreate at home later. And therefore they might try to like order the wine or join the wine club or whatever. It's like all about like creating that wonderful experience for them because like that's why I moved here. Like I visited here in 2021, I think, for an audition with the Oregon Symphony. And like I had a day off, so I came down and did some tastings. And I said that day, I texted my now wife, at the time girlfriend, I was like, I think I want to move here one day. And it was not because anyone was like asking me to join a wine club.
Totally.
For sure.
Side note on that too, I just, again, curiosity here popping into my head, but how is the food scene in Willamette, Adam? Because the inspiration of this question is, went to Sonoma, and I just thought it was so interesting how it seemed like amazing wine bred these amazing restaurants all over. I imagine it's the same thing in Willamette.
Yeah, it's so Portland and Oregon in general has such a sneaky good food scene.
Yeah.
And it's no different down here in like in the country. There's like great spots like Okta or Painted Lady or Blind Pig, which we have here in Carlton, and they support a couple of our wines. But like you have kind of what you need, where like if they're not just Blind Pig, but anywhere, like if you need like, I need kind of a messy lunch because I'm in wine tasting, I'm a little buzzed, I need some grease, I need to get the fuel back, there are places for you. If you're like, I just had one wine, like, because some people come up here and like will travel from out of state and do like one tasting a day. I don't get how that happens, but like if they do that, like they'll go have their tasting and then they'll like go to a nice dinner and have like the equivalent of like a Michelin star dinner. Because something I learned about it up here actually on the food thing is I didn't realize that you have to pay for Michelin to come see you, but like the city of Portland or the state of Oregon has to pay them to come up. Yeah. So, and Portland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know. If someone's listening and knows the actual thing, like if I'm even a little bit wrong on that, sorry about that. But how it was explained to me is that a city has to basically pay for Michelin to come visit it, and then they will start reviewing it. And like I think it's just like a one-time fee, but from what I understand, it can be like tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in certain cases, and then they will put that on their radar. And so Oregon has not done that, and so therefore there are no Michelin star restaurants in Oregon. So as a result, though, there's not like the accolades. A lot of James Beard Award winners up here. Yeah. But but the food scene is just out of control. Like I took my wife and kids to a brunch spot when they visited. We went to just like a pretty popular brunch spot in Portland. It was like among the best breakfasts I've ever had in my life. And it was just like, oh, okay, well, that was $20. Great.
Man,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Excellent food and affordable. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My God.
Yeah.
I'm dying to get out there, man. Definitely.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
when you guys do your live pod tour, you can do it at Saffron.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. Sign me up.
If we put every place that we've joked about going to as part of our tour, our map looks stupid.
Yeah, I know. You have a lot of empty promises on the airwaves. No. I'll call you, babe. I'll call you.
No, we'll stop.
Checks in the mail.
You know, Italy. We'll pass by Oregon on the way. And on our.
I know.
I
love that.
That's
if
another
you guys
thing
are ever
that
here,
having kids. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Like another thing that having kids does not make easier is traveling.
100%.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's louder, it's more tiring, but at least it's more expensive. So
that's for sure. Yeah.
So you've been now in Oregon for how long?
4 months.
4 months.
Almost 5.
What are you most looking forward to as you think about, you know, your family moving up and joining you, and you're kind of now looking down the runway of working in wine in that region? Like, what is most exciting to you?
Well, so yeah, I mean, obviously, like let's get the elephant in the room out of the way of like being back to connected every day with my wife and kids is like the number one priority, and like it's super hard to be away from them because, you know, and you guys know it's at that age 2 and 4 I'm missing a lot of stuff. Thank God we're in a time of FaceTime where like I every breakfast I'm with them, every bedtime I'm with them, which is great. And when I revisit, like it feels like we're picking up where we left off. But okay, elephant in the room out of the way. But of the obvious. Now, what's been really nice, and we can talk about like the job thing if you want, but like when I clock out, I don't think about it again until I clock in. As far as like Saffron.
That's awesome.
Like, and if I do, it's out of excitement or like stuff I want to think about, like of like positive work injection, you know. But but what's been awesome is like, and I texted you guys before or messaged you guys that like there was a couple places I wanted to highlight because it would be impossible for me to highlight all 800, obviously, especially since I haven't been to all of them. But like,
take some time. Sure.
That'll take time. Yeah. But one of the first cool things that happened when I got here, my first tasting day, I went to a place called White Rose. It's a tasting room over in Dundee, and they specialize in like whole cluster Pinot Noir. And I had a great tasting. Like the flight was great, the wines were great. The guy who was helping me, named Dago, who's like a legend up there. I found out after the fact he's a legend up there, but he was helping me. And when I left, I was getting up to take off for the next tasting, and I was like, oh, thanks, man, I really appreciate it. Because one of the fun parts about living in the industry and in wine country is like, at least in Willamette, is the general rule is no one pays for tastings when you're in the industry. So like
sure.
I'll go give a tip, or I'll bring a bottle, or I'll buy a bottle. Like it's one of those things. So it's not just like I go drink wine in peace, but like unless I really desperately want them to never send anyone to Saffron. But like I do one of those sort of things. Yeah. And so I went up and paid dog. I gave him a tip, you know, and I was like, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. He's like, what was it? By the way, like, I was just curious, like, what was your favorite wine? Like, I'm like, oh, it was probably between this one and this one. He's like, yeah, but like, what was your favorite one? And then I'm like, probably the neoclassical. And he's like, okay. And he just gave me a bottle. He's like, welcome to Willamette. Your family now.
Wow.
Like, we can't wait to see your wife and all this stuff. And like, and I looked it up after. It's like not a cheap bottle. Yeah. And so it was just like, that was like a sense of community, that there is competitiveness and all that stuff, but like not like the music scene where like when you're and not just specific to music, because LA is like doing a lot of great things, but like whenever you're freelance, it's like there's a bit of a cutthroat nature no matter what, you know. And so being in a place where like he's got a job, I've got a job, everyone I meet's like got a job, like we're good, like, and the sense of community within the industry has been so spectacular. And there's like industry event nights, parties, like we have ours coming up, where like what we'll do is we'll invite anyone over that's nearby. We'll post it a few places, and like other wineries bring a bottle, we open up some of our bottles, we bring some food, we hang, we kick it, and we leave. And you know, I've gone to a few of those. It's been, that's the part that I'm like loving so far, is that like I'm able to do this thing, but like I don't have to like constantly be thinking about it, like, because you know, like when you're freelance, if you have a day off, that's great, but like you have a day off because you're not employed that day.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and then so here it's like when I have a day off, it's because I don't have. It's because my day my day off. So
right. Yeah.
Like,
for you, man.
honestly, I'm
That's awesome.
super happy for you, because you went from, you know, last time we talked, you really sounded like, I mean, I feel like grind is the wrong word, because like being in music and being in wine, like, you know, if you're in music, you love music, and that is a passion, and wine is a passion, but like you had to balance all that. Like you said, like, you know, you're working multiple jobs, and now you're able to step fully into this world. And, you know, the idea of, I love what you said about you're competing, but you're not competing, right? Like, you know, you want to be the best wine, but like if you guys are doing incredibly well and people are coming in out there to see you, like that's only better for other wine. Like there's excellent wine, you know, in the valley. That's great for everyone, you know, and that's different than, you know, two competing musicians who are auditioning for one spot, you know.
Exactly.
So I think, you know, that's awesome, and it's really cool that you get to be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it's been fabulous, and like, you know, the team here like is great. Like I said, like we have our great people here at Saffron. There's great people at other wineries around us, and I had so many friends in LA, but like it's just different when we can just turn it off, you know. And that's something new. So that's been really exciting. And all the wine like, you know, when you love wine tasting and you live in a place where you could never stop going wine tasting, like
Literally
that is the opposite of a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah. Jealous. So jealous.
You just trip and fall into another vineyard.
It kind of feels like it's like, it happens sometimes. I'm like, I'll just drive. I'm like, I don't even know what that, like, cause you know, like, what is that? Or, you know, and there's a lot of places up here that have, like, you know, the vast majority is Pinot and Chard. But there's some other stuff going on that's like really cool, and it's kind of fun to discover all those. And like, to your point, like if any of the three of you visited, and you visited for like, let's say a long weekend, and you went hard, like let's say you went to like 10 or 12 wineries, cool, there's 820.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
like
crazy.
You know, you missed 500 spectacular places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. Well, man, so happy for you, you know, in this new experience. So happy that your family's heading out there soon, and that you're going to get to, you know, continue doing all this. And we're excited, of course, to have you on again in the future and really see how this has grown.
Yeah.
But now would love to just learn more about what's happening immediately. You were kind enough to send us a bottle of Pinot Noir from Saffron Fields. Would you mind telling our listener about what you sent our way?
Tastes like wine.
Yeah, so I sent you all the 2021 Spectrum Pinot Noir. Now, and as Aaron beautifully displays it, perfect for an audio format. And I,
We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Smash that subscribe button.
Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and the reviews really help. Yeah, no, whatever you say at the end. So a huge part of your guys' role, and it's like such a valuable one, is you try to highlight wines that are not just approachable from like a taste perspective, but like approachable from a price and like actual like the every person could actually go out and get it. So that's we have a ton of different Pinots. We have a ton of different beautiful Pinots, but I wanted to send you what is essentially our entry-level Pinot Noir, which is the Spectrum. The reason it is priced as entry-level, which is at $45 retail, is because we use predominantly estate fruit, but we do source a little bit of Pinot Noir from our a couple of different vineyards that our winemaker works with. And so we can't really charge the same price for estate wines, while we also have another wine that has not 100% estate. Another way it goes down in price a little bit is most of our Pinots spend 16 or 17 months in oak. And this is all French oak. And this one spends 12, and 25% of that is new. So it spends a little bit less time than that. We can get it out of there a little bit earlier, and therefore we can reuse those barrels a little bit more often. And so this is made up. So one thing that's really unique about Willamette, at least in my experience, and like I said, I haven't been to any of the wine regions in Europe. I've never left North America, but in Napa, in Santa Barbara, in Lodi, the conversation around clones is not a thing. We don't talk about clones. Whereas in Willamette, that's like a huge topic up here.
Interesting. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it will, and be a large part of it is
Just
because
real quick for the listener at home, can you just explain clones if you could real quick? Because I'm not sure if everybody knows what you're talking about. When you
of course, happy to. So originally when vines were planted here, they were done with clippings, and those clippings were done from vines in Burgundy. And so we'll have clones named like the Dijon clone or the Pommard clone. And now it's all grown in nurseries, and it's all, they're able to do it without actually bringing over clippings. But originally that's how it was all done. Is it was brought over, is planted, and then propagated through those plantings. And so each of those different
Weren't a lot of those like snuck over too? It wasn't just like... Because from Burgundy,
they were not permission. Yeah, they were not given permission.
Scandalous.
The term up here is suitcase clones. Where you'll sneak them in. You'll be like, "Oh, what is it?" Clip it, and then put it in the suitcase, and like, "Oh my God, plant it!"
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So now it's it's one of those things like, well, now it's too late. This is what it is. But so
mine now.
But yeah. So 4 clones that we have planted of Pinot Noir are Dijon 777, Dijon 115. Vadensville, and Pommard clones. Now, if you are drinking Pinot Noir anywhere else or wine anywhere else, you don't have to know what that means. However, when you're visiting here, and that, like I said, it's getting more diverse now, but it's still not that uncommon to go to a winery or a tasting room and do a flight of 4 Pinot Noirs, and that's all you try. And the differences with those and how they'll make those distinctive is different vineyards or different clones. And so, for example, we have our 35-acre vineyard. 32 of that is Pinot Noir. The different clones are put into different blocks of the vineyard. And so we will have, in a given year, I'll use 2023 as an example, which we haven't released yet, but we have our estate Pinot Noir, which is a blend of all the clones. We have our Dijon Pinot Noir, which is a blend of the 777 and the 115 from Dijon. We have our Heritage Pinot Noir, which is the blend of the Pommard and Vadensville. And then we'll have our just Pommard, our just Dijon 115, our just 777, and depending on the vintage, just Vadensville. And those will all be distinct, but I will say, having been here for a few months and done a lot of tastings, only in the last month and a half or so, which is like a lot of tastings, am I able to like really pick out different clones and like be like, oh, is this mostly Pommard? And they'll be like, oh yeah, it is mostly Pommard. And it is like
wow, that's
almost upsetting to me that that's possible. Awesome. But
I love that. Good for you.
But I will say, like, if you're visiting, like I said, like if you're visiting for like 2 days, and you have 3 tasting each day, and over the course of those 2 days, you might try 15 Pinot Noirs and no other red grapes.
Yeah.
And so you start to see the difference, but you also start to just get drunk on Pinot Noir and like dead palate, and which there are worse things to be drunk on. Don't get me wrong, but but you know, like
Pinot Noir.
It takes a while to really like feel those distinctions. Some people feel it really like right away, but like it's hard. So anyway, that's all to say. That's our Pinot Noir program. We also have a white Pinot Noir, which I can talk to you guys about at some point. But
oh, that's cool.
Pretty common up here now, but like still not like super common. And this Spectrum is a blend of all of our clones, and just like our estate, but this is the estate Pinot Noir gets the priority fruit. The Dijon Heritage get the priority after that, etc. And then what's left is Spectrum and or Rosé, which we also make. And that's where the rest of that Pinot Noir goes. The good thing here is like it's a 32 acres of Pinot Noir. The worst quote unquote acres, like the last picks, are friggin' awesome fruit. So, you're still dealing with and as you guys are drinking, like if this is your entry level Pinot Noir, we're not looking at a bad spot.
And timing for this is wonderful. First of all, I just want to say, like, just even the concept of being able to tell the difference between different types of Pinot Noir is baffling to me. I'm working on figuring out like a blind tasting between like Pinot Noir and like,
Cabernet
Sauvignon. Dude, I would, and this is the part that's like upsetting is like, I think it would be easier for me at this point to mix up like a big Sangio and a Cab than it would be to mix up like a Vadensville and Quarry clone or something like that, Quarry clone. And
that's
which
bananas.
is like, but that's the thing is like when you're in the land of like the differences are the clones, that's it. Like, so like they feel like flights after a while, certainly not right away. We're like, that's a Grenache, that's a Pinot Noir, that's a So, but if I had to actually drink those other ones, I would probably mix those up. So it's you know what I mean?
Quick question on the ABV. This one's clocking in at 14.2. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a heavy hitter. Is it not for Pinot?
Yeah,
or is that kind of standard up in the Willamette?
They're getting there. Some of them are a little lower, but it's getting warmer. The world, and our particular vineyard. I know. I've heard rumors. But
someone should be talking about this.
If only there was a resource. But our vineyard sees a lot of sun throughout the day, and so as a result, there's no shady spots on our vineyard, and the way it's laid out, it basically gets sun from the morning to the night. And so as a result, we have a little bit of a warmer site, and we get a little bit bigger Pinots. So like it would be very easy for you to go half a mile and have a really lean, light Pinot Noir. Just based on like that vineyard might be hitting a lot of shade, or it just might be going east-west, or like whatever reason, it could just be proper, or they just don't trim back the leaves as much or whatever
or something.
So we have a pretty hot site, but it's nice for us because they age really well.
Sure.
So I've had 13s recently, and there's beautiful.
Amazing. I mean, so I don't want to hold us back from tasting this and sharing our notes. I do want to say, though, I think if you a listener, if you've been following with us, the past couple weeks, we've really kind of talked about different ways you can put accessible wine in front of your folks. We just had Thanksgiving. We have Christmas coming up, New Year's. I think this is going to be another example of a wine, a red wine that is widely accessible, that a wide variety of folks will enjoy. And when we look at pricing, 2 weeks ago we talked about $13 wines. Last week we talked about $25 wine. Now we're looking at a $45. So as you're looking at the quality of wine that you want, the price range you're looking for, now, consider where you want to lean into and what you're looking for exactly. Hopefully we've provided you with a variety of options over the past few weeks. So I'm really excited to kind of see where this goes comparatively. And therefore I don't want to hold us back any farther. And I feel guilty that I've held you back this long as is. Let's taste this wine. All right. So as always, we're going to start at nose. Adam, we're gonna see what we get on the nose, and then you can tell us if we're off by a million or if we're naming something crazy. Colin, you want to start us off, or Joel?
I'll jump in.
Joel, take us away.
I'll jump in. So getting a couple of things right off the bat, though. I think just a really lovely, like kind of darker cherry note.
Now, Aaron, cherry is a fruit.
Does it come in Pop-Tarts or no?
It can.
It
can.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Sweet.
The only other thing I'll call out before I throw it over to anybody else here too is, and I'm trying to put my finger on it, but a lovely little, not earthiness to it, but something, maybe I'll just say earthiness for now until I can put my finger out a little bit more, but it's very nice.
I like earthiness for sure. Yeah, I think the oak stands out. I get quite a bit of that cedar, a little bit of that vanilla note on here. I think the red fruits is a great call. You get some of that darker cherry. I think there's some raspberry in there too.
For sure.
Quite a lot of red fruits. I mean, the fruit is really nice on this wine.
I'm gonna say strawberry before anyone else does. I'm gonna say it. right now because and it's the only one I
Claimed.
know. I've been cutting a lot of strawberries for my middle child right now, so like I got that smell
Nice.
locked.
I like
So
that.
all
I
our
definitely
goals
got
to be a
strawberry.
better parent for our kids than we are for ourselves. I hear you.
Yep.
That's right. But really nice smelling wine.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable just to sit here and sniff and kind of parse through.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, Aaron, what else you got besides strawberry?
I mean, outside of strawberries, like I don't know. I was thinking about, Joel. You said like earthiness, and I'm trying to land on what that is, and I don't know. It's like maybe it's like a, I don't know, like a cinnamony.
Yeah.
I don't know. So some kind of
Yeah, you
aspect
get a little
to
bit
it.
of spiciness, but I think the
Right.
spices kind of differ from the earthiness. I think that it's kind of like a.
There's earth and spice and strawberries and cherries.
Yeah.
Yes, there is all of that, in
Green
my
and
opinion.
orange and yellow.
Adam, are we leaving anything out?
No, I think
we
that's
missing?
pretty. That's what I think is pretty spot on. What I get a lot of every time when I'm smelling this wine is I do get a lot of the spices. Actually, I get like nutmeg, I get cinnamon, I get clove. Like I get these things that like you get a little bit from the oak, but you also just get a little bit from the vineyard site itself. And I find that really, really enjoyable. The red fruit all is there, which is great, and I love that. But for me, what really stands out, is that spiciness that you kind of get from it.
For sure.
Wonderful. All right, Joel, what'd you got on the palate?
Yeah, I think aligns really nicely to everything that we called out before. What I'm noticing too on the sip is just a really delightful acidity in there too, that is, just makes it so just like clean and bright also, which it's, we're talking about, we've all kind of called out, dark red fruits and all that, and then having a little bit of an acidic kind of kicker in there is making for a very nice kind of balanced sip, in my opinion. It's nice.
And it makes me very thirsty.
Hopefully that makes sense.
And I
yeah, totally.
And you got to keep drinking it. That's the key.
You gotta keep drinking it. I keep trying to quench my thirst, and yet
That's the game. Your thirst is quenched right at the bottom of there. Right there at the bottom of the
just
bottle.
keep going. You're almost there. Alan, what about you? What do you get?
Yeah, the one thing I noticed right off the bat, beyond the flavors, which I think we did a pretty good job on, is the tannin. This Pinot Noir has quite a bit of tannin. I've had some super thin Pinot Noirs, and I'm guessing because you guys are able to get those super ripe with the sunlight and stuff. But this wine has some really nice tannin to it.
Yeah, agreed.
You guys are stealing all my structure stuff. The only stuff I can talk about because I don't have any foods that I eat. But I do agree with you, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like if you would say body-wise, like this is kind of like a medium, lighter body of a red with that kind of acidity and those. I mean, it's just to be clear, like it's not like overbearing tannins. They're just like really
The
appropriate tannins. The tannins are achieving what they're supposed to achieve.
No, they're beautiful.
The appropriately tight hug.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and it's really nice. Like, it's not scratchy or anything like that. It's just kind of warm. I don't know. It's not a very good word for tannin, but that's kind of, I don't know what's coming to mind.
Joel's talked about like sweater teeth before and stuff like that, where people are like, sometimes you get that grip where you like when you swish it around, all of a sudden you get like kind of lockjaw for a second where you're like, my mouth doesn't move. None of that is there, but it is, to your point earlier, like I've definitely had Pinot Noirs where like the tannins really don't exist, and you're like, oh man, that was a good. There was a good flavor profile there, but it all went away because nothing's kind of hanging out afterwards. And this kind of has a combination where like there's a lingering to the flavor, and the tannins are really comfortable, appropriate hugs happening right now.
Yeah. And this is another one.
That's a t-shirt.
14.
This is a t-shirt.
It's a
Appropriate
t-shirt.
hugs only.
Print it. Print it.
Go ahead and bust it out there, Colin. I'm assuming you're the t-shirt guy.
We don't have a t-shirt guy yet.
We need
'cause
our
we don't have
t-shirt.
any t-shirts.
Well, congratulations on the promotion then.
Oh.
Yeah, you did.
Hey.
It doubles your salary.
Which is 0. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, it also triples your cost.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I will say too, at 14.2%, you don't really taste the alcohol, which is super dangerous. This is one of those wines you could just keep drinking. It feels like 13 and a half, but
That is something
could catch
you
up to you real quick.
Which I'll give credit to our winemaker Tony Redner. He's a pretty famous winemaker up here, and we've been really lucky. We've had him since our first vintage in 2010. He's been the only winemaker we've had, and he is like the absolute master at creating that balance and that structure to that point where like even if our Pinots got up to 15, which they won't anytime soon, but like if they did, it's kind of like the Blatty we have where it's like it's so well integrated that you're just gonna be like you won't find out until you stand up and you're like, oh, There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Sneak
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah. So it always feels
really
light.
good.
It feels lighter. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
I'll sleep here. Yeah.
Yeah, this floor looks comfortable. Amazing. All right. Well, anything else popping out? Did we miss anything, Adam, at all?
Yeah.
No, I think it's a great assessment. I think this is one of those wines that I like this about all of our saffron wines, but I like that about this particular category of wine of like it's exactly as complex as you want to make it. Like if you just want to drink a red wine, here you go. Like if this is your first red wine, you're like, oh yeah, that's good. And if you are like training for exams, this will also give you so many options of where to go and how to find it because it has all the right clues, but it also just has so much depth that like it can just keep going.
Well, normally in our show, this would be the part where we'd pause and we'd go into our educational section. But I feel like you've already kind of shared so much with us about Willamette Valley. Before we get into our final review, though, is there anything else that you'd want the listener to know about the region, about the culture, anything else before we give our final verdict?
Yeah, so I'll just do one more plug for just Willamette in general, is that this is like not just a great place to visit, but it's a great place to meet people and have community within the wine industry. Like it's you can find the winemakers in a lot of places where you can actually talk to them. You can find owners, you can find people that really know their stuff, and like there's a lot of people around that have just been in the industry for sometimes 20, 30 years up here. And they just have such a breadth of knowledge that it's really, really outstanding, but it's not pretentious. It's fun. It's approachable. And, a lot of Pinot and Chard, but there's a lot of places doing a lot of different stuff, and you can find those too. I wanted to say something, and I'll use this moment in the pod to do it since we might move on from it. I wanted to just give like a 2-minute advice for when visiting a wine region that is predominantly 1 or 2 grapes, which is a quick tip, and it's something I've had to hone this because of all the tasting I do. If you're going to hit 3 places in a day, which is the typical thing, right? One morning, lunch, 2 tastings in the afternoon, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you're in Willamette, we'll use Willamette as an example. Hit a Pinot Chard house morning, lunch. Second place, hit a sparkling house. We do different stuff, like whatever, and close with a Pinot Chard place. Because then you will actually be able to appreciate those last Pinot Chards for their differences because you aren't getting pummeled. So real quick, like good example of that, like that I'll use some places that are popular up here, but also that people might not know. Hit a White Rose in the morning where you're going to have Pinot and a little bit of Chard. They do have a little bit of Syrah, but it's Washington fruit, so it's a little different. And you go to lunch. You hit like Lytle Barnett, a sparkling house where they only do sparkling wines. And they might do all Pinot Chard, but it's all sparkling. And then you close with like a Saffron or a Jactor or something like that, where Jactor wines, which is over here, that you're going to hit Pinot and Chard, and they might have some other stuff. So break up your think. Just be conscious of that when you're going wine tasting, because and I think that's the same for like Napa, where like if you're doing Napa cabs for 3 tastings in a day, okay, but if there's some more, it can be brutal. And that last place you're not really appreciating as much because you're burnt out or drunk, or both. And so like that's the one. So if you can find like a middle one that's like mostly white wines, or like they do make a cab, but they also do a lot of Grenache or Cab Franc or something, hit that in your Napa. Here, try to mix that second tasting in the day with kind of an odd place. Another place I'll plug is Day Wines, where they do all Willamette fruit, but they have Pinot, but they have Chard, but they have like orange wines, they have Chenin, they have other kind of cool stuff that they source from around here.
Excellent. All right. So we have given it a smell, given it a sip. We've talked about it. We've learned a lot. Colin, would you like to give us your review? I know you're going to be the hardest, and Joel and I are going to have to like really dig up from where you are in your cruelty.
I don't think that's fair. I'm not cruel.
I don't think you're fair either. Oh wait, no, go ahead.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
So I've been trying to make Pinot Noir a thing on this show for a while, and I have failed miserably as far as quality is concerned. So it would make sense that a guest would come on and bring the first good Pinot Noir on the show. So
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Good.
This is a great wine. It is, even at the entry level. Like, if this is the entry level, god damn, because I can only imagine what going up from here is. Really nice balance. I think the structure on this wine is the winner because it's just so structurally balanced. I love the tannin, I love the acid. That alcohol is sneaky, not even in there, but then it has all of those awesome Pinot Noir flavors as well. And this is kind of a bigger version of Pinot Noir. You know, this isn't as light as maybe I would think some Pinot Noirs might be, especially coming from Willamette. But like Adam said, they have a warmer site, but they do warmer site incredibly well. Like, it's just, I don't think you'd ask for a much better wine at the entry level than this. So this is an absolute must share. If you can find this anywhere or go to the winery, absolutely check it out because it's damn good wine, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I just keep drinking it. That's it. I get to, I try not to drink too much at these, and every time my glass is empty, this is...
Yeah, hold it up upside down.
Holy...
That's my guy.
Wait, did you pour Chrissy a glass, or is that all you?
Yeah, she's at a couple.
If you're just listening, he held up 2 empty bottles. He is trash right now.
Get that other bottle.
And I am hammered. No, but an absolute must share. It's damn good wine. So check it out if you can.
Wonderful. Joel?
Yeah, I mean, you said exactly what I'm thinking, especially with this being the introduction to Saffron Fields. Like, this is amazing. And the thing that I'm really enjoying about it, I've also gone through more than half of this bottle here just in this time frame, and the thing that I'm enjoying so much about it is it has a lot happening, but it's fun to kind of pick apart, and it's all there. It's like the only thing I can equate it to is like Legos, right? Where you're building something, it all comes together so perfectly, but there's like a rhyme and a reason. There's a way to do it, and it all makes sense. And at the end of the day, you have a really cool product. So that was a pretty good analogy right there.
Your wine tastes like Legos.
Huge.
Pat myself on the back on that one. Yeah, but just so enjoyable, so fun, and gosh, I want to explore more of this. I want to explore more of Willamette and total must share.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with the both of you. Absolutely must share wine for sure. And Colin, Joe, know, like, I am not. Pinot Noir is not my go-to wine. I like the big punch in the face, like Cab Franc, tannins, like knocking you out, like that. That's just kind of what I've, migrated towards. And I feel like this just has such a great combination of, a little bit stronger tannins than you've gotten so many Pinot Noirs that we've had in the past. Just a little bit more flavor, just a little bit more personality in
a lot
this.
More flavor.
Like, this has a personality to it. This wine has a signature that you can like say, oh, that's what this is. It's called Spectrum. It has a wide spectrum. It's hey, there it is. You said the name.
Title and
yeah, so it's just there.
And credits. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's such a good example, and I think every type of wine out there is going to have an excellent example of that type of wine. So even if there's a style that is not your favorite style, there's a wonderful example of that style. And I think for me, that's what's tagging for me. Like, Pinot Noir is not my jam. I'd drink this wine all day long, and I would buy this bottle next time I see it.
I just keep drinking it. Like, I should probably stop just for the sake of tomorrow.
No, it's Friday.
Hit it.
That's tomorrow's Colin problem,
That's
right.
It
It's not today Colin's problem.
Yeah, you're right. Touche.
Wonderful. Adam, would you want to give? This is...
No, but it's also easy. It's wine fridge because I have 2 slots. Boom, done.
Yeah, there you go.
That's correct. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, we have to remind everybody, you have 1 wine in your fridge.
Yeah.
2 spots.
That's
so,
right.
yeah.
Wait, what else did Adam put in his wine?
Yeah. I'm going to take it out. I don't have to, but I'm going to. Yeah. No, but it's I will say, though, and I want to be clear, like, I am still waiting to have a Saffron Fields wine that I don't really like. And some of them I absolutely love. To give you a scope of this, like, and because Colin, you said, like, if this is the introductory wine, like, you don't want to go, like, this is probably this 21 Spectrum, because I work here, I taste a lot of different vintages. This is probably not in my top 10 of our wines.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Damn.
That's incredible.
Because there are just so many good vintages of Pinots that we do with Folio Estate, and I would drink this every day if I could.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's just, and I only say that, and I only draw that comparison for people if you're visiting or if you ever try other wines. Like, that's the range of quality we're kind of dealing with up here, and not just at Saffron, in Willamette.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Wild.
And I will give a shout out if anyone, because I just did this number because I have to keep a spreadsheet. Since I've been up here, I've been to 70 wineries. And
hey,
if anyone wants,
that's like a solid percentage of the total.
I know, it's getting a little offensive, but if anyone is listening to this and you want, like, if you like have a trip already planned and you want some recs, feel free to shoot me in the DMs and I'll be like, what are you looking for? If you're looking for just the views, I got a top 10 for you. If you're looking for just the Pinots, I got a top 10 for you. If you're looking for, I don't like Pinot, I don't like Chard, but I want to visit, I got a top 10 for you. So, like, if anyone needs that, feel free to reach out.
Listen, we are tapped into a Willamette Valley expert. So if you're listening to this, take advantage. We are tapped into a Willamette Valley, somebody who lives in the Willamette Valley.
There it is.
So
a resident.
I got pared down. All right, so we're going to end with a game, and we're going to end with a game that we have only played once or twice, and this game is called Viterations. Play on words, iterations, and viticulture. We're very smart like that.
They get it.
I didn't get it. I actually explain it. I didn't get it. I appreciate it. Breaking
it down. So Viterations, in this game, we kind of asked the question, if this wine was a, and we kind of give it its own personality. So if this wine was a sport, what sport would this wine be? I'm going to jump right in. I'm going to jump right in. So I don't want anyone else to take mine. Mm-hmm. This wine is soccer. This wine is football.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
This is the beautiful sport, the beautiful game. It's the beautiful game. It's the beautiful wine. It is everything you want out of a sport. It is strategic. It's exciting. It demands a lot out of the players. And this bottle has everything you need in a wine. It has all the pieces of the puzzle, and you can enjoy it. And everyone can enjoy it, just like everyone can enjoy football.
I love it.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this wine is like synchronized swimming. The reason is because it's it's just everything is working in the time that it needs to, and it's all perfectly. We were talking about the words that came up a lot were appropriate and just perfectly balanced, and I think that that's what we've got going on here. And I would also say, if you're flipping through the channels and you come across, you may not have gone looking for it. If you came across synchronized swimming, you are stopping and you are watching because it's beautiful and you get hooked. And I think that's what this wine is.
Man, that's a pretty good synchronized swimming sales pitch.
Very nice.
I wasn't expecting that. Now I'm going to drink this wine and go watch synchronized swimming.
That's right.
Let's go. Colin, go ahead and win with Adam.
Yeah, so I think this is kind of like sumo wrestling, because it's a bigger version of Pinot Noir, but those guys are absolute athletes, and this still has that zip and that freshness to it. So while still kind of hefty, it still has all those things that make this an athlete.
I never thought that comparing a wine to sumo wrestling would be, something that makes me want to drink that wine, but it does. It does.
When you said sumo wrestling, I'm like, I'm sorry? But then it felt right.
Big and zippy. Love it. All right, Adam, what you got?
I feel bad because I'm going to compare this to a sport that I don't like. However, I think this wine is golf. And here's why. Mm-hmm. Because you can be like, top your game, like PGA Tour, and you can be putting in a mini golf course. The things that it combines are fun, camaraderie, and elegance. And I really appreciate about this wine, because we've all been there. We've all been like, let's go play some golf and like just go putt. Let's go have some fun. And then we've all seen like the best in the world do it. And like, wow, that is like so smooth, so beautiful. And there's just there's a level of it for wherever you are,
What a beautiful way to end it.
That's perfect.
What a beautiful way to end it.
Soccer.
Love it.
Synchronized swimming, sumo wrestling, golf. Only
and we're
time
all right
on the face of the planet in the history of the world that those four things have been compared to one item. Well done. Fantastic. Adam, thank you so much for joining us again. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to have you back on, after some time in Willamette Valley and to learn so much more about what's going on there. For one more time, Adam, would you mind just telling the listener what we're drinking? Like, what's the sign off of this wine, this vineyard, and anything else you'd like them to know? Where can they find you, or where can they find more information about this winemaker?
Sure. So this is Saffron Fields Spectrum 2021 Pinot Noir. We are located in Yamhill Carlton AVA in Willamette Valley in Oregon. You can find our wine online. We do pretty much all direct-to-consumer or in the state of Oregon. So you can order from us, or you can do the better thing, which is just come visit us. I'll be here most days. We have a great team here also if I'm not. And if you have any questions about Willamette or planning a trip or anything, you can always DM me on Instagram at wineaboutmusic. And if it's okay, I want to do a little quick plug because I'm also starting a new.
This is it.
Starting a new column that I'm starting next week, which is a column on Substack called 100 Point Wine, where I'm going to be reviewing wines, but on a 1-point scale, which is 100. But it's really more about that wine and why it was perfect in that moment of my life when I had it. So exploring those wines.
Awesome. Very cool.
Man,
I
we
love
look forward to
that.
reading that, and we'll definitely share out that link with our listeners. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. As always, check us out on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. If you don't follow us there yet, please subscribe. And if you'd like to come on the show or have anything to share, email us at cheers@stopwastingyourwine. But until then, we'll see you next week.
And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.